The game never stops, and neither do we. Welcome to the SDH Network. We're always around the corner from everywhere. Morning Espresso, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. Let's get straight into it. Some late chaos in Liverpool yesterday. That keeps Manchester City alive. They looked finished at one point, and then in the space of 6 frantic minutes, Pep Guardiola's side ripped the Premier League title race back open in the most dramatic way possible. Much of the night, it kind of felt like how City has been this season, controlling the ball, dominating territory, but not that cutting edge to go win games. Liverpool, I think, looked a little more resilient than they have often this season. They were pretty good defensively. Alisson twice denied Erling Haaland in the first half. That kept City frustrated. Then Liverpool got their moment, a set piece and a ridiculous free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai. Hits it, and it goes off the inside of the post, and Donnaruma's like, what am I supposed to do? There's nothing he could do with that. Anfield erupts. Arsenal's clear at the top of the table, and it looked like the goal that finally shut the door on Manchester City. I mean, the commentators were basically having the funeral for Manchester City on air. So many different things are said in it, and then they had to be all ripped up because, you know, you're 10 minutes from the end of the match, and people are saying, game over, season over, title race over. It's all over. Manchester City's trailing 1-0. Arsenal's lead looked untouchable. Then Manchester City found something that they have been looking for. Bernardo Silva volleyed home an equalizer. Everything then turned to chaos. Alisson's late challenge on Mateus Nunes. He handed City a penalty in stoppage time. Just a reckless challenge that was unnecessary in that moment. Haaland stepped up with the weight of the season on his shoulders. He banged it home from the penalty spot. That made it 2-1. And then there was still one more twist with some VAR drama. Ryan Cherky with a kind of shot/pass from midfield after Alisson had come up on a set piece. It's rolling in. Szoboszlai grabs Haaland as he's trying to run onto the ball. That is a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity because Haaland is in behind. He grabbed him. They all go down. Haaland's grabbing to try to get free, and the ball ends up rolling into the net. It could have been given as a goal, advantage in the situation. The VAR and the referee ultimately decide to not give it as a goal. A free kick is given for the grab on Haaland, and Szoboszlai is sent off. He will miss the next match. Arne Slot had a lot of things to say afterwards, and some of them were borderline ridiculous, trying to compare that to the Mo Salah shirt grab, which was a shirt grab and a foul and a yellow card outside the 18. They're not the same thing. Salah was not in clean behind. There were defenders in the situation. That was not dog-so. And he knows better. And this is the frustrating thing, that sometimes things get amplified when they shouldn't. When somebody says something that is incorrect, like Arne Slot did, that shouldn't be making headlines. It shouldn't be talked about as, yes, that is accurate. It's not. It's not the same situation. This is not a total judgment call. This is looking at the two plays and saying they're not the same. And the Salah one, there are other defenders involved. That would not be a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It wasn't talked about as such at the moment. And just because you had one later that clearly was. Now, it could have been not called. You could have just let the goal stand and everybody leaves and it's 3-1. You didn't. And that's what happens when you make that grab at that point, because you didn't need to. Szoboszlai did not need to grab Haaland. The game is over. It's the last moments of the match. You don't need to take a red there. Just let it go. Just let the play finish. That's all you have to do. So all kinds of bad decisions. I thought Liverpool were complaining and not looking all that secure in general, but also just, I don't know. I think the pressure of the entire situation of the season that they have had is really starting to get to them. And it does have to be said, and I know it's been talked about some, and it's easy to forget it at times. I think this is a team that mentally, emotionally is not at their best, and it's kind of unfair to expect them to be after the passing of Diogo Jota before the season started. I do think that has had an effect on the entire campaign for Liverpool, and that has to be part of the overall conversation. But they also haven't handled some moments in matches and moments in the season well either. Is this part of why? More than likely, yes, but it's not the only reason. And it's complicated. And that's really where the Premier League title race is right now. It's complicated. We'll see how it goes with Arsenal at the lead, but City not done yet. Let's bring it back home to Concacaf. They have set the roadmap for 2030. They have announced their men's national team calendar for after the World Cup through the 2030 World Cup. The structure is really clear. Nations League will run in 2026 and 27, again in 28-29. Gold Cups will be staged in 27 and 29. World Cup qualifying for 2030 will stretch across 2027 through 2029. It means the U.S. men's national team, along with El Tri, along with Canada, will spend much of the next 4 years playing competitive CONCACAF fixtures rather than long stretches of open international windows. Personally, I'd rather see one Nations League and one Gold Cup in each 4-year cycle. But the current format, it has helped raise the competitive floor across the Confederation, guaranteeing more meaningful matches, especially through the Nations League play. The biggest change comes in qualifying. CONCACAF's new format will culminate in 3 4-team groups like we saw this time around, instead of the old school, familiar 6 or 8-team final league that defined the region for decades. The top 2 teams from each group of 4 will qualify directly for the World Cup. They're expecting 6 spots, although FIFA has not confirmed that yet. And the 2 best third-place finishers will meet in a playoff for a spot in the Intercontinental Tournament in March of 2030. The shift, it reshapes the entire qualifying experience with more spots for CONCACAF in the tournament and a different format. You're going to get fewer guaranteed marquee matchups built into World Cup qualifying. The days of the U.S.-Mexico or U.S.-Canada qualifiers are coming to an end. It's replaced by a more scattered, less predictable path in terms of games, but a more predictable path in terms of the powerhouses getting to the World Cup. Now, those headline clashes are more than likely going to be in Nations League and Gold Cup stages instead, which still gives you competitive, meaningful games against your big rivals. It's just with different stakes. The calendar also confirms how heavy the workload will be. The U.S. will balance Nations League runs, Gold Cups, and the full qualifying cycle across nearly every international window from 2026 through the fall of 2029. In short, the road to 2030 is already mapped out. For the U.S., the next 4 years won't be about easing into the next World Cup cycle, won't be about a whole bunch of experimentation. It'll be relentless regional competition, constant pressure, and a CONCACAF schedule that gives you very little room to breathe. Let's stay in CONCACAF. The U17s are in action in CONCACAF right now. The U.S. statement performance Saturday night. They rolled past St. Kitts and Nevis 10-0 in their second group stage match. Malik Jakupovic scored 5 goals, had an assist. The Philadelphia Union 2 forward, one of the top attacking prospects in the U.S. pool, even as Bosnia and Herzegovina continue to loom as an eligibility option for him internationally. Matteo Di Marelli added 2 goals of his own. Vinny Garcia, Eddie Chadwick, and Prince Forfor also found the net. Huge win for the U.S. They will play the Dominican Republic on Tuesday. They need a win or a draw to secure their spot in the U17 World Cup in Qatar. Let's talk about what's going on around the domestic side of things. Weston McKennie, he scored again for Juventus. Serie A match where he gets another goal. He's in such a strong run right now. They had fallen behind. McKennie's goal helped Juve respond to that. He's been so important in the attack. He's been so important in transitional plays. Got 4 goals in 8 appearances. Lately, Luciano Spalletti has praised him for his versatility, for his form. Weston McKennie is becoming vital for the U.S. as you start to get ready for these March friendlies and then the World Cup this summer. Lionel Messi scored his first goal of 2026, trademark solo run and finish. Inter Miami drew 2-2 with Barcelona in a preseason friendly in Ecuador. Barcelona SC, Barcelona of Ecuador. He also assisted new signing Herman Berterame, whose first start in Miami colors came after the reported $15 million move from Monterrey. Miami's night turned late after a red card, 87th minute equalizer for the hosts. Mascherano's team is still looking for a little bit of rhythm as they get close to the MLS season starting. Catarina Macario could be on the move soon, reports suggesting Chelsea may be preparing for life without her. She hasn't played in 2026, was left out of the Blues squad for the Champions League knockout stage. With her contract set to expire at the end of the season, NWSL interest is expected to grow quickly. LAFC, they got the deal done for Canadian midfielder Steven Eustáquio. He is on loan from Porto through the summer, an option to make the move permanent. They had to acquire his MLS discovery rights from San Jose. He'll get regular minutes ahead of the 2026 World Cup, trying to get his spot locked in for Canada this summer and an opportunity to stay in Los Angeles long term as well. Orlando City, they've acquired 20-year-old center back Iago Teodora from Flamengo. It's a U22 initiative deal running through 2029. He has featured for Flamengo's first team. He captained Brazil at the 2025 FIFA U20 World Cup. He's been a leader well beyond his age, and he's the third U22 signing for Orlando from Brazil this offseason. Chivas de Guadalajara, they have closed on the signing of 23-year-old Jonathan Perez from Nashville as their newest addition for the Clausura window. Only medicals left before the official announcement. Perez comes from MLS to Chivas after developing with the Los Angeles Galaxy and then heading to Nashville. Versatile on the wing or in midfield, Gabriel Milito will get some extra reinforcements here with Perez. Also, MLS teams, clubs, personalities all took to social media to respond to Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance, celebrating the energy, the cultural impact. I mean, Bad Bunny killed it in front of, I think the report's right now, I've seen some higher, but at least 135 million viewers. Some are saying it is the most watched Super Bowl halftime show. It was a massive crowd. I think X actually shut down right afterwards because it was overloaded. MLS voices joined the conversation. I mean, celebrating the Latino fan base, the deep connections between the soccer culture and the moments that resonate far beyond just soccer. I thought what was cool about it was, I mean, the spectacle was amazing. The production was amazing. But just a understated, clear message of unity. I thought Benito using his platform to define America and in an inclusive sense and across the entire hemisphere. It's something I'm always trying to be really careful about when I talk about things from America or soccer in America. I try to be really specific if I'm talking about soccer in the U.S. or soccer in the Americas, the entire hemisphere. That's important. The visuals reinforced all of the tone here, including that reminder on the big screen behind him in one of the more epic shots of the halftime show. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. It was a performance that, I mean, it felt like a love letter to Puerto Rico in many cases, but it also, I thought, was very welcoming to gringos like me. It was very cool. It was very cool just to see the joy, the resilience, and just the simple emphasis on togetherness. Really cool. Glad MLS clubs joined the conversation as well. And MLS clubs and players and personalities, everybody. It felt like everybody was talking about this because it was that kind of a special moment. It was very cool. Around the corner on the SDH network, it's a busy morning on SDH AM. John Nelson joined by Abe Gordon from 92.9 The Game, Bart Keeler from the Soccer for US podcast, catching up on everything that unfolded over the weekend. If you missed it from over the weekend, you can now watch or listen to the full interviews that Madison Cruz and I had with Ronald Hernandez and Adrian Gill. Both are on YouTube. Both are on your podcast feed, wherever you get your SDH podcasts. Two really, I thought, thoughtful conversations, a lot of insight into their journeys. Definitely worth your time. We talked to Ronald for over 30 minutes. Probably could have went another 30. Just great conversations with both of them. I can't recommend those two podcasts or videos, however you prefer. Can't recommend them enough. And one more from Friday in case you missed it. Botafogo finally came to an agreement with Atlanta United on the transfer fees owed from the 2024 Thiago Almada move. I broke down the entire telenovela and what it means going forward. Full article is at soccerdownhere.net. We'll see how this continues to play out with Botafogo as John Textor is still being John Textor at times. Let's get into the refill. Some news from around the world. PSG, a humiliating rout of Marseille. Ousmane Dembélé, he had a statement performance, 2 goals and an assist, 5-0 win. Luis Enrique called it historic. Biggest winning margin PSG have ever posted against Marseille. Roberto De Zerbi, oof, it's not looking good at the moment for De Zerbi and Marseille. Bayern, they responded with 5 goals after a very short winless stretch. 5-1 win over Hoffenheim. Harry Kane with 2 of them. Luis Diaz with the other 3. Inter, they also scored 5. They dismantled 10-man Sassuolo 5-0 to stretch their Serie A lead to 8 points over Milan. Kylian Mbappe, he scored again as Real Madrid beat Valencia 2-0, 7th straight league win. Barcelona keeps the 1-point lead as they won over the weekend as well. Barca still on top in La Liga. Manchester United, 4 straight Premier League wins for the Red Devils under Michael Carrick. 2-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur. Really, really impressive for Michael Carrick. They're in the top 4. Manchester United trying to get back into the Champions League next season. Arsenal in the Women's Super League, they stunned Manchester City 1-0 in front of more than 39,000 people at the Emirates. Canadian Olivia Smith scored early to end City's 13-game winning streak. City still leads the table, but it has gotten a little bit tighter with Arsenal in the mix. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he has joined Chelsea's women's ownership group alongside Alexis Ohanian. He called it a chance to support the continued growth and impact of women's sport. Chelsea have been one of the global standard bearers, dominating the Women's Super League really up until this season. They did just extend Sonia Bonpastor's contract as the manager, although now things have gotten a little bumpy for her with the Blues since that. Palmeiras, they are investing roughly 23 million of Brazilian reais. That's going into women's football in 2026, a dedicated center of excellence nearing completion. The facility will include medical, performance, residential spaces. It's modeled after elite clubs in Europe. And that project is being fueled in part by a record transfer fee received for Amanda Gutierrez. Coventry, they have dropped points as the championship race has tightened. Coventry scoreless draw by relegation threatened to Oxford United. They're still in the lead, but it's really slim. Middlesbrough can move top with a win. Coventry play them head-to-head on February 16th. Wrexham still in the mix as well in the playoff race. Cristiano Ronaldo omitted from a second straight Al Nassr squad. Reports of internal disagreement over the club's direction in the Saudi Pro League. The league itself issued a rare statement stressing that no individual determines decisions beyond their own club. Okay, I don't know how this one's going to play out. We'll stay there. Al Ittihad, they enter the Asian Champions League elite under pressure after the exits of Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante. They've struggled domestically. They sit outside the top tier of continental contenders. This is a huge game for them on Tuesday in the Asian Champions League elite. Madonna, of all people, has become the ultimate soccer mom at Tottenham. She was spotted supporting her adopted twin daughters at Tottenham Hotspur's academy match, then again at the Spurs women's match the next day. It's a big part of her family life, from Lisbon with Benfica to North London touchlines. Just part of the weekend soccer routine. One of the biggest pop stars in history of music is a soccer mom. Very, very cool. Rayo Vallecano, their players have blasted their club over unacceptable conditions. They issued a public statement criticizing their club's management over unusable pitches, cold showers, deteriorating infrastructure. La Liga postponed Saturday's match against Oviedo after the surface was deemed unplayable. A very ugly dispute over basic working conditions right now for Vallecano. Chivas de Guadalajara, they're getting Johnny Perez, but they've also extended their flawless start to the Clausura 2-1 win over Mazatlan on Friday. Efrain Alvarez opened the scoring. Hormiga with the penalty for Chivas to win their 5th straight to start the season. Mazatlan did pull one back, but Chivas held on to keep their momentum heading into the next round, where they will face Club America, the Clásico Nacional in Mexico, coming up this weekend, Saturday night, 10 o'clock start. That'll be worth your time. Boca, they lost 2-1 to Vélez in Argentina in the Apertura. They're in 5th in their group. Vélez leading their group right now. In the other group, Tigre leads it after a 4-1 win over River. Tigre is dominant at the moment. One of the most lopsided defeats in River in league history. A lot of pressure starting to pile up on River Plate at the moment. Stade Rennais, they have parted ways with their manager, Habib Beye. He has been let go as head coach following a run of underwhelming results. That was announced just a little bit ago. They're trying to recalibrate their season. Inconsistent performances in Ligue 1 and a stretch that has fallen pretty far from their expectations. That'll do it for this edition of the Morning Espresso. Don't forget SDH AM. You can catch it on demand as a podcast, as a video on YouTube or on Twitch. All the content right now on SDH, on the SDH network, including a new series starting later this afternoon. Turn your notifications on if you follow us at Soccer Down here on your social media platforms. If you're an Atlanta United fan, you'll want to see this one. It's going to be fun to start this new series. It'll get us ready for the start of Season 10 for Atlanta United. Less than 2 weeks away. Crazy. Have a good Monday. I'll be back with more Morning Espresso for you tomorrow.